All right, guys, welcome. This is Jake, and we're in Tulum right now, in the Caribbean of Mexico, and it's very humid, so we got our drinks, and we're on the beach. Maybe you can hear some of the ocean music. But yeah, today we're going to talk about, Jake's story. I met Jake maybe a little over 3 months ago, and Jake did my 13-week coaching program, and we're just going to get to learn a little bit, about you, what your experience was like. So yeah, Jake, the first thing I want to ask you is let's just get to the stuff everybody really wants to know, which is from where you started to where you are now. What was just really the big transformation that you saw in yourself? What was the thing that really happened within you that you learned that really got you to where you are now?
I think you can look at some of the material items and maybe put some things on paper and talk about some of the things I'm doing at the moment and some of the discipline, the people I'm talking to, the relationships I've made. Um, but if I were, honestly, the biggest thing to talk about is the meditation
Mm.
and getting inside. And I remember 3 months ago really sitting on Zoom with you or talking with you and like really not even being able to close my eyes for like a minute or like 2 minutes, 5 minutes, or and then like growing in that way. And now it's my meditations have gone deeper, and I'm able to see more and be more touched with my feelings and my emotions, which are probably the biggest growth of it all. So
What do you think that's done with you? Like, originally when people start this work, it's like they have a very hard time, especially men. Like, we're so conditioned not to be in touch with our emotions, which prevents us from being in our heart or in intuition. So being able now to be more in touch with your emotions, to meditate, to go in, what do you think that's done for you?
it's probably the first time in my life where I've been as present as ever, or like could be present whenever I choose to, instead of maybe choosing to push an anxiety away to another time or putting on a show or having other methods to kind of just like push the pain away and just kind of ignore what I'm feeling. And honestly, I probably didn't even know what I was feeling. And I didn't know I was feeling anything because I thought I knew what I was feeling. Like, if you tell anyone, are you in touch with your emotions? Any man, they're like, yeah, of course. Like, yeah, I am. Yeah, like, I'm not, am I stupid or something? But so you really, like, just truly, I mean, I still don't know my emotions as much. I know a few. I know, like, I know how to find and can see some of the things I'm feeling and maybe on a broader level, but I think there's just like, I would have never even known.
Mm. Yeah, I mean, most of this work is right. Like we're so in our heads all the time, also men, right? And but the downside is we start overthinking, we get lost in our thoughts and anxiety. But then the journey is when we start to face the emotions, we start to come home to ourself, our body. So what was that like? I remember, it can be sometimes painful, but like, what's it like to just kind of make that transition from just being in the head all the time? I remember you at the very beginning, worrying about this and what people are saying, and just coming home to yourself and obviously leading to that presence that you talked about.
I mean, it goes beyond words, to be honest. I think the last 3 months have like changed everything for me.
Mm.
Everything. I feel like even more so, like, there's things I knew, things I wanted to get to, but it's more so I'm like hiding in my body, hiding in my shell, and with some of the things we learned and did together, it's like now it's like I can connect, and I'm not as scared to, or have like I know what I was feeling before, instead of like just kind of sitting in like a pool of denial
Mm.
of like my entire life of like yeah, like I'm everything. Like I was taught up my childhood saying like I'm so special, like oh like you come like you're my child, like you came from this family, you come from this parent, you come from this community, like you're so special, but it was never like something I could actually feel or know or know for myself or learn for myself because it was always just like something told to me and it was something I always felt like I should know but I didn't but like I couldn't act on it. So it was like worse. It was like why aren't you this way when like I told like you're told you're a certain way, but you can't be that certain way. So then you're not that certain way, and then on top of that, someone tells you you're not that certain way, so you feel bad about not being a certain way. But like the whole time, it's it's just the battle within yourself, pretty much. You know.
Yeah, a lot of the work that we got into, right? And we'll bring this up again, but it's like it's often it's a journey back home. That's what healing is. Trauma and things that happen to us, our conditioning, takes us away from who we really are. And what I saw, over the last while is you become extremely powerfully, authentically you, and that's had a lot of benefits because the more you've been able to let that stuff go, it's like the real you is present. The real you shines through. So you describe a little bit about that. Like, what's that like? Because I feel it now, and I know it's played a huge transition in your work. You talked about you started. You're a bit maybe kind of shy or had that shell, but now you started your own business. You have your own company, and yeah, I don't think you were in that state even 3 months ago to do that. You were still finding yourself.
Yeah, I always had the tools, the knowledge, like the know of acting about and playing and going about like business or relationships and and beyond that like knowing like I have so much love to give but like I couldn't give it because I was so scared of giving that and having you know someone else put what they have on me or taking what someone else was giving on myself. So I mean like I said, this is like everything. I mean, to go like deeper into it, it's like you can give love. You can tell people you love them without being like, oh, like what does this mean? Like, is it gonna disrupt my manipulation or control of getting a woman, or is it going to make me be a weird person, or like if someone is not going to do business with me or something, or won't hire me, or won't want to give me something. So coming back to that, and then knowing on top of everything else that you have the power within you to go and manifest someone else or another thing or another opportunity, and you don't have to rely or hang on to someone that you met who's maybe like dangling an opportunity and manipulating you to get you know what they want. I mean, I'm diving into a lot, and I don't know the question exactly, but coming into like not being afraid to even just say anything is like and be authentic is like one in like is rare. It's a rare thing because you go out and you see people and they turn away or they can't really understand or they're like trying to figure out your intention, but like there's no intention when you're authentic. You're just kind of going with what the world is putting with you, and you're gifted from the earth, from life when you're authentic, and you find other people who are like that as well. So you're not really having to dig in the weeds anymore or be around people who don't understand as much. It'll happen because there's more lessons, but you know.
Yeah, I know for you, just like because we did a lot of the work when we were like I was in Mexico City, you were in Tulum. Well, but we can even talk about how we met, right? Like it's very interesting. You want to explain a bit about how we met in Tulum, real quick?
Yeah, I moved here in March. I lived in a studio in this building by myself for months, pretty much. No one was there. Maybe a couple people came in and out. Airbnb, all these. For for the most part, I was by myself. And one day, I was leaving, and I saw you coming in just to check out the place. You're like, should I move here or something? I'm like, yeah, it's okay. I was like, it's just fine. I'm by myself. Like, I didn't mind having someone else, and you seem nice. And I didn't know anything about you, but I was like, I was just feeling good that day as well. It was just a good day, I guess. And you went on a week later. You came back, and we talked a little bit. I mean, every time I left, you were kind of there. When I came back, you were either your door was open or you were coming back at the same time. So it was like pretty destined for us to meet in that way. So, and then you stayed for a couple of weeks and got out of here.
Yeah,
Before.
Tulum, and I think when you start to get into this work, it's like the universe has a pretty good way of just putting you in touch with the right people, the people that can help you, the people that you can help, and yeah, really just putting us in touch with the right people that we need. Let me ask you this, like when we started talking, I kind of told you some of what I do, and it's like it's a little bit out there for some people, this kind of more spiritual healing work. But let me ask you this, most people, they start off with traditional therapists, all that. What made you sort of go the route that I work in rather than the more traditional psychotherapy and all that kind of stuff that might be more popular back home?
Let's see. I'm 24. My entire life, I didn't speak to any therapist. I didn't read many things that weren't for my schooling, or I didn't pick a book until maybe I started coming to Mexico last year. My first book was it was just an energy book. It was just maybe like 20 chapters. Just each chapter is like kind of a new lesson about energy. That was the first time I started getting into anything spiritual. Before that, I had seen someone maybe around last year for about 3 months or so. And it was nice, and it was like an intro. And honestly, like when you're so far in your shell, it's like you don't want to get help, or asking for help is like the worst thing you could possibly do, especially for me. And not that I even asked for help, it was offered to me last year. So I started speaking to someone, but I didn't really take off. But she introduced me to some things and some books as well. So I did start reading last year before I came. And once I picked up a book, maybe another book, I shifted to Mexico. And I had a job at the time for about 3 months. I finished my job, came here. I was just on my own journey. So your question was, why would I get into this? It just found me, honestly. Like, I didn't really choose. And once you offered me something to come talk with you and see things, I couldn't really, it was like, of course, like, why would I not see what there is to offer? It was just everything aligned. I was doing nothing. I was in Tulum.
When you came in, like before we started, can you just tell everybody a little bit about maybe some of the challenges you were facing, and then we can talk about, you did a ton of work, and yeah, what happened after you put in the work, like, but what was the initial stuff that you really wanted to work through, or you wanted to change?
Number one thing is confidence. Confidence is like, you can't just fix confidence. Confidence, like, I don't even know how you fix confidence still, but it comes from everything. It comes from being alive. What I want to fix, when we first met, I don't know, I don't even really know if we had a goal. I just knew, like, every time we meet during the week, it was like I knew things from the week that I wanted to work on. So it wasn't really like I had a vision, but I just wanted to feel better. I didn't have like a metric or any. I just wanted to feel good, and to just keep going what I know is going to make me feel good, regardless of what my mind thought. So Um, we just started meeting and I started feeling better, so I just stuck with it. There's a lot of things. Women, mostly women. I mean, women are just like the best way to teach you about yourself because we're all kind of chasing.
What do you think it was that,
So
like, particularly like for people who are outside the work, they've not jumped into it yet? What was it that we actually did that sort of got you feeling better and better and moving up in energy? And what could you describe to people who don't are not familiar what that actually feels like, what that looks like?
once you can materialize some of the lessons in the books and you can read and put names to things that you've thought your entire life, you can use one little thing for everything in your entire, like everything that you do, to start increasing your happiness overall. So,
Yeah, I mean,
you
a
know,
lot of what we're doing, right, in this work, this inner work, is we're going within, we're facing often, old subconscious past emotions, blocks, and then we're letting them go, which is the most important part. And when we do that, that's when we let go of those energetic weights, that's what creates the new energies, and we start to, elevate an energy. So, to someone who doesn't know, what's that like to really go in, do that inner work, to release all this old stuff, and yeah, what does it do for you?
it's like that's your whole practice, pretty much. It's like imagine you're just carrying this. I mean, picture this almost every day. It's like you have a backpack with like a weight going to the sky, and every day you can take something off. Is like you're flicking off a 5 pound weight, and you can like stand up a little more, and you can breathe a little more, and you can like start looking around you and like accept more things from the world. I mean, what it's like, the more work you do, the more you receive because you're making the energy of the world a better place when you can release whatever you're dragging down.
For sure.
So, and it's like everything for me or for someone who would is like it's so BS or it's they want to convince themselves it's not. Once you start doing it, you'll see how undeniable the your like results are. You'll see, like you'll just if you really want, you can write it down and you can look back and you'll see like, okay, well I wanted to do this and I did this. And like maybe people don't want to give themselves credit and you want to see like how like every time you meditate you want to feel better or something, or you want to feel lighter, or if like you want to be ready to go talk to someone, you'll be ready to go talk to someone. I mean, right, it's undeniable,
Yeah,
the
the
results.
that's a beautiful way to describe it. The backpack, right? Like we're wearing this backpack of all this heaviness, this emotional burdens that we carried our entire life. But yeah, like these emotions, they're actual weights. Like they're obviously everything is has energy to it, even the physical stuff, but so do emotions. So when we let go of the emotion, it's like it feels like something actually left our body and we become lighter. And the lighter we feel, well, the better we feel. And it seems so simple, but that's the path. That mostly for what we're doing. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. It's really interesting. Like the healing work. It's inherently spiritual, right? And so, like I often refer to myself as a spiritual guide, advisor. But the beginning of the work is very healing. But there's all sorts of spiritual things that sort of play into that. Can you talk about that? You talk about synchronicities, and we bump into each other all the time in really crazy ways that like we don't coordinate anything. And you talk a little bit about that and how maybe learning more about getting into some of this has kind of shaped your view and all that.
Coming to this place has been like, I mean, easily, I mean, the best decision I made. And on top of that, like accelerating everything I could ever wanted because you're in this wave of people who are also in the same energy, and also, I mean, this place is like to heal, and to see how things work, and for you to manifest, and for you to like really want something and you can get it, is like, it's like not, it's like a fantasy. It's like something like no one would ever even believe. It's like all these like fantasy, like literally, like I was walking, thinking about like Avatar, how people are like moving energy, or like you even showed something with Avatar with me, but like even these shows where it's like, oh, like people have powers. It's like you wouldn't believe it until you're in it, and until you hear, and then like when you can go back and look back, it's like what, like wow, like I was like this is what I wanted. This is the person I wanted to get to, and you can look back and even look at pictures, and you can see in your eyes or your skin, or like you can think back of like the people you're around and how they reacted to you, and even now, like when you go and speak with people and how they light up or give you compliments or tell you like how you've changed, is like,
Yeah, you can't
you
deny it.
know.
Jake and I were at it's called Holistica. It's like a healing retreat center and restaurant like 3 nights ago or something, and I got a text from a woman that we were speaking with there who was like, the guy you're with, Jake, he's really powerful, and I sent him the text. But yeah, it's undeniable. Like people literally went out of their way to say like how powerful she felt your energy, right? And it's because you've done so much inner work that you've unlocked your power, I feel. And yeah, so what's it like just owning your power now to be able to step into that?
It's like your destiny. It's like what you're reaching your potential,
Mm.
your purpose, and like happy. It's like you're happy. Like I'm just happy. So, and to be able to share and listen to people and have empathy, and to now be able to look back and know what was in my body and know what I went through, instead of like thinking it, is like gives you more power to be able to connect with someone, and for someone to open to you, and for you to know that, you know, they may be in a place and they may think all these things about themselves, or call themselves a number of things, or identify with so much, like, you know, from the work that you've done, that they can also do that as well. So, and for me, it's just, I just get to wake up and like fix more things every day that like have held me down my entire life. So that, like, things I've done in spurts, or maybe one thing I've done over a year, now I can do in a day, 5 days in a
Wow.
week.
Would you mind giving some an example, just even if it's small, of like something that you went through, it came up for you, you learned the techniques, we worked together to kind of let it go and move past it. Is there anything particular that comes to mind of something that really just kind of, even if, it's kind of turned the knob?
I mean, I have a ton of stories now. Being able to walk in a room that before you would have never even thought you belonged to,
Hmm.
or could connect with someone, and knowing before, when you walked into a room with people, you would think that all of them are, they just know, and you just think, I would think that I don't know anything. I would think that like I'm so far behind all these people. Like all these people grew up with, like, I would attribute to like they had parents growing up, or like they had uh guidance or something. And for me, it was like maybe I didn't have that as much. And I would go into a room and I would be like already walking at like a lower level. I'm like, I'm just trash, or like, like in my head, I would say, okay, one day I'm going to be so much. I'm going to be like have everything I could ever want. As I've always thought that I'm going to be able to have all the money I want, have a family, do whatever I want in life. But in the present, it was always like one day I'll get there,
Hmm.
and it's always like when I just couldn't live that because wherever I went, it was like I'm literally I don't even see I'm there, but I'm not there. So now being able to walk in a room and to breathe
Hmm.
and to look people in the eye and to speak with people is like and know like we're on the same journey and to know like like the universe is around us and that I'm in the wave and I'm gifted and favored or that I'm learning things that I can teach people and people can learn from me or maybe I know a few things that some people don't know and now I know that I know. Now I know like I see other people on like um maybe they're in a place that I was before. So I mean that's every day where I'm just in places where like before I'm like I couldn't even think of myself belonging in a room.
Wow. Yeah, the word belonging is really important, right? Like, in a lot of clients I work with, I would say one of their greatest internal heart's desires is they want to belong. And one of the traumas I help people work through, we went through a bit, is this trauma of abandonment, right? Like, you grew up with a single mother, you had to deal with that, and you mind talking about just a little bit about just that kind of trauma that we kind of have to work through, and what that's like, and what it's like to kind of work through all that. Can you speak a bit on that?
Yeah, I'll touch on it with your trauma. Like I is generational,
Hmm.
which people know that. But what your mother carried, or your grandparents carried, or your father and their parents, is working all the way down to you. And until you can tap into what they're dealing with, and maybe and use what their parents or siblings potentially, and what you're feeling is until you can do that, you're gonna hold on to it. And when you can start to use your parents and maybe what happened to you and what happened to them to your advantage is to really start releasing whatever's in your heart and to connect with your being. So for me, there's a lot of abandonment or death.
Yeah.
I grew up with one grandmother,
Hmm.
and my father's side pretty much, you know, not there growing up. So for me, it's still a theme, something I'm learning about, seeing, and but it's been so big for me. It's like because once you can release it and you can see what's really like the emotion that's in your body that's like hurting you so much, and that the world is bringing around you to like make you feel, then you can learn to like really embrace it. And instead of being upset at so many people or angry that like why would you do this to me, it's like thank you for giving me a test and thank you for making me feel something that maybe isn't even mine. And everything around you just starts to become like a blessing and something that's for your benefit instead of you're hurting so badly because your boyfriend left or girlfriend is doing this to you, or every day you place blame on other people, but the world is asking you for it, so you can feel it.
This is like the higher consciousness perspective that I want everyone to reach, right? It's like either things are happening to us, our sickness, our trauma, and then the world's happening to us and we think we're a victim. Or we, as we move up, we start to get more, do the work, we have this kind of level of consciousness is that we're aware that everything is a gift. Like you said, it's all trying to point us within so that we can work through something and then inside and let it go and free ourselves. But yeah, that was huge. Amazing. I want to ask you, we had such an interesting conversation like maybe 2 days ago at this cacao place, and one of the things you were telling me about was like, well, you had no hesitation to work with me because you know how important it is to have a guide or someone who can help you. And you're talking about the LSATs and your experience with that. To people who, obviously you can all do it by yourself, this work or anything else in life. But can you talk about your experience? You told me about the LSATs and, kind of our work and why it just makes so much more sense just to actually work with someone just to help you through it from 0 to 10.
Yeah, I mean, now I'll welcome any help from anywhere, because as much as maybe someone will think they don't want to waste their time or someone's going to make you worse, like if someone comes in, you can use what you want to your benefit and take whatever they want to maybe put on you or is not going to help you to push away. So, hi, your dog back there.
Oh, dog.
Um,
Yeah.
so, you mentioned the LSAT. I studied for maybe 6, 7 months all by myself until I finally took the test 3 times and made a marginal plus. I mean, this goes back to my entire life where it's like, I'm just doing the best I can. And the best you can is the best you can, but you don't really know what's your best until maybe it's too late. So I did my best, but then by then 6 months have already gone past and I get my score back and it's not exactly where I wanted to do. It was good, but if maybe, which I did take the test again, I got a tutor, I didn't have enough time, and maybe see where the world takes us. If I get another tutor, or if I did the process again, I would take in as much help as I can. And on this journey, I was reading, even now, like I read, I can speak to people, I can meet people, but like to have someone in and accept, it's not even that I chose you. It was like the world chose you for me. And it was like, I'm just accepting it. It's not even like I asked for help. It was just the world wanted to help me. So I just allowed you in just to feel it out. And I just rode the wave with it instead of like having really to think about it. I just kind of like took the opportunity that was presented to me. And that comes with putting yourself out there, going outside, kind of manifesting a better life for yourself or asking for it, and you receive it. So I was stuck in my house maybe for months and months just studying and taking my test, but I didn't know, or I thought I was studying. We can get into a whole bunch of things, but
Let's take it wherever it needs to go.
I'm studying for a test that's 4 sections long, 2.5 hours. And I thought it'd be better to study for each section at one time and to max out each section. And after so long, I learned that, okay, well, maybe I should have been studying taking all 4 sections at once because it's a marathon. I'm practicing sprints when I'm running a marathon. So it wasn't until I had someone else call me or I reached out and they're like, no, you have to do it like this. And I just didn't know. I didn't know.
Yeah, this is a beautiful analogy. Why I like this Ellison analogy, because it's like often, yeah, we're doing our best to do it ourselves, but the whole point of this journey is that we have teachers, that we're student teacher all the time, and we want to allow those teachers in because they can really help us get results much easier and faster. Because all of what we're doing here this is the spiritual journey. This is the lesson we're on Earth. We're learning this stuff. But a lot of what we're doing, right, is we're looking at patterns that we've been repeating for decades, and and bringing that from the subconscious to the conscious, end up letting that go. But often, people who come in, they've been doing the same thing over and over and again their whole life without anyone telling them they need to do something different. So they're getting the same money they've always had, the same relationship stuff, and they're wondering why nothing changes, but it's because they haven't actually got that outside help to help them look within and say, well, what actually needs to change and what do you need to let go of to do something different, to get a different result in life. So yeah, I think it's super helpful to have that outside guidance for sure. Um, yeah. What else do you think you noticed on this journey? There's the inner work, and then what else in your physical world has changed? Because when I met you, I think you just came to Tulum, you quit your job, you're still trying to find yourself. And when I spoke to you even a few days ago, you spoke with such confidence and clarity that I'm going to be extremely wealthy, that I have this real estate company, and another interesting thing is we spent the last 3 months. I have a separate group apart from my one-to-one coaching where we do called the Awakened Entrepreneurs. It's a group of about a dozen guys, right? Really successful business guys. And yeah, so what's that like to kind of, I don't know, tap into that masculine entrepreneurial energy that you definitely, started to embody?
It starts with like the belief, like when you can just you think you're this person, but until you like tap in and see yourself as that person, or tap in and think and feel, it's like, okay, well, why aren't you that person right now? And it's because subconsciously there's so many things that I still tell myself, that kept me from being someone else or the person I want to be. So as much as it feels like, okay, well, I knew I was destined, I knew I was always going to be someone who makes money, does something, makes connections. Now it's like I can materialize it, and um, it's like rapid. It's like everything was in front of me the whole time, but I just didn't know how to use it because I'm hiding in my room, I'm in my shell, and I have all these voices in my head just controlling whatever I'm thinking. And now I can hear the voices, see the reflections that are staring right at me, the people I hung around with forever, the people everyone hangs around with that are showing you everything you need to see, but you just don't want to see it.
Yeah.
Like being awake to that, and like seeing, like using the people around you to your advantage, and to feel what they're showing you, what you need to feel, so you can be better and you can be more in touch with your soul, is everything. So now it's like, now I feel like I know I'm in the loop. I know things. I know maybe more things than some people. That there's no reason why I can't do more business than someone I think or someone I know more than. So like on a spiritual level, I felt like I had no spiritual connection. And now that I'm happy, and I thought everyone else was living this happy life and is doing all, like, talking to people, having conversations that like I just couldn't even have my entire life, or that like I thought I couldn't have. Now that I know I have a spiritual connection, now I can see people in the material world who maybe have less of a spiritual connection or have no spiritual connection. And I'm like, okay, well, this whole time I could have done that because they can do it. So there's no reason for me to go out, not and put myself out there and have a dream and apply my dream and have belief in a business, because of like there's no reason to have doubt. If you don't have doubt in yourself, why would you doubt your business? Why would people not connect to your business if you connect with yourself and you connect with people? So if I couldn't connect with people, I thought if I had an idea, everyone would just like shoot it down, and they would never want to maybe invest or come to a place I built or an event or do business with me. And I hid behind someone else's name, like a corporate company job, so I could use the confidence of the business, so I can sell something because it wasn't me, because no one's going to buy from me, because internally I'm just like asleep. I'm not even asleep like I'm driving, but I'm not.
Yeah.
I'm not there. So now I'd like to be happy and have a connection, and to have no excuse not to apply that in business, and to see and be aware and like use the resources I have to build something is is everything, you know.
That's really well
So
said, the way you spoke about that. And yeah, like obviously my clientele right now, it's mostly, entrepreneurs, business professionals. And yeah, most of us, we are the business. And how we think about ourselves, how we present ourselves, how we feel has a direct connection on the business. And now you're an entrepreneur, you have your own real estate company, and yeah, you're the face of it. Jay Cohen. this is the brand, and people are essentially, they're buying you and who you are and your energy and what you represent and how they feel when they're with you, right? Yeah, sure.
and it's like you're not like I don't do it for money. It's like yeah, I do it for money as well. I want money, but it's like I'm not crawling to get the money. Like the money just I made it so a business is just like it just flows with me. So the money, I'm just accepting it now. I was like, it was coming, it was right in front of me, but I just pushed it away before, and now it's
Yeah, you've allowed
I'm
it in.
just
Yeah.
yeah materializing what was wanting to come in.
Yeah. Yeah, it's the crazy thing is we're all so abundant, like just our natural born right. But yeah, we have all these old things that just sort of push it away or block it, or we don't want to receive it, and then we do the work, let something go, and now we're more open to it. We see the opportunities, we take action on them, and yeah, like I think even before we did this, a deal just came in for you, which is cool. You materialized one, I think this morning, yeah, when we were talking at lunch. Yeah, um, it's amazing. What would people who are looking in who are just about to start this journey, maybe working with me, what kind of advice would you give them? Maybe they're like they've never really gone inward before. The spirituality stuff seems a little bit on edge. What kind of advice could you give to someone who's just peering in from the outside right now? From back where you were, 3 or 4 months ago.
I mean, that's like the whole thing is how do you reach out to people whose souls are like wanting to come out, and like you see it in them, and people get brought around you, and you can see in their eyes like stop pushing it down so much. The only thing you can say is maybe pick up any book. Pick up one book that will maybe help you in some way about energy, about spirit, about love. Maybe start with love, and start putting yourself around people who make you feel loved, or like you see their love and you want to be like them. It's just one step. It's one step at a time with everything. You can, if you're eating something every day and it's making you feel terrible, just stop eating it. You can tell yourself, I'm done eating this food that makes me feel so bloated, and maybe you eat it again one more time, but this time instead of eating it the next day, you ate it a week later, and the next time you eat it a month later. It's just like one little thing at a time. Like if you're playing a game every day, or if you're arguing with someone every day and it's the same thing, you have the power to remove yourself and go, you have the power to do everything by yourself. If someone's telling you you can't, just get away from them. And they love you, but you don't have to do things for love all the time. Like love, like we think we love everyone, or like we think we love, we have a relationship with someone who just like yells at you and treats you terribly, and is that person's so hurt, and like you think you just love them so deeply, and like you had that love that you think you can't find it somewhere else, or like this person is like you can't find something else like that. Why not? Like why can't you find someone else who's gonna give you love or treat you well? Like why? Like if someone's treating you terribly every day, it's because you don't think you deserve better than that.
Yeah, we can only receive what we yeah, how we think about ourselves, yeah.
So it's one little step every day. It's having discipline and literally just deciding to do something every day. Uh, Before I like maybe invest a little in yourself as well. Put some money. We're also dragged by money. Put enough money away towards something, a gym trainer, a course, a teacher. That's like you don't have a choice but to abide by it because you put so much money towards something.
You're totally right. I think that's the big part of coaching is when we literally invest something, it's energy, and now we've made a choice. And I remember when we started, I remember, it's like Tulum, you didn't have much direction, you weren't doing, you're still trying to figure it out. But I think one thing you told me you really liked about what we did was we were going to meet each week at the exact same time, and at least that would provide some structure enough to you know, and you became very disciplined very fast. I remember in the beginning, you were kind of slow to do the work, and at a certain point, the discipline kicked in, and you started to go through all the videos, and then I would be like, wow, he watched like 80% of it in a few days, and he was just taking off, and then went to, yeah, I never missed the call as far as like the Great Awakened Entrepreneurs, and then you just started to take off, and now you run a business, and the discipline, the masculine energy, it's all there. But one thing I want to ask you, because I think it's really an interesting subject, and you might be the youngest client I've ever had. Most of my clients, late 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s. But a lot of what the process is when we let go of these emotions is they come from childhood, really early on. And it has a natural effect that when we let go of these kind of childhood wounds, this perspective is that we grow and step into our masculine energy. We really grow as a man. And I've definitely seen it in you, really step more and more into the masculine embodiment. So you speak a little bit on that and what you kind of felt like that was like.
Right. I think you say the work is a bit feminine in itself, getting in touch with your emotions. So a lot of the work, you're way over on this side, but it's nice to kind of leave Earth, leave where you're at, do some work, come back, and you're applying it to the material, which is more masculine, and the discipline and the choices you make and the people you surround yourself with, and the women you think you can talk to or not, and what you deserve in a relationship, how you treat yourself. Um, I think the masculine side is just materializing all the lessons you learn in another place and bringing it back to this life. So it's nice having work or having some things on the calendar. Or before I was like, I'm with the flow. I'm not going to do a single thing. I'm not going to make a single plan. I'm not going to do it for the rest of my life, I thought. And then to come back and to see, okay, well, maybe there's value in a structure. Maybe it's empowering to come back to some of the labels we put on days and times and to use things to your advantage. And you also have the power to choose not to. But instead of like being at will of every day and every time and every label we put, a friendship or someone who's around you, you can choose to pick a label or choose to pick your schedule, and you can choose what you want to have in this earth. So
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Well, we covered a lot. Is there any other kind of big thing that you want to share to everybody? That you think would really help them? Just people listening in who, they're on the outside. They're looking to start the work. Maybe
right.
they've tried other things that haven't worked, or they're really just looking to find that answer, that solution for themselves. Is there any really kind of thing you want to take it home with that would really help them?
Sure. Maybe we didn't talk as much about the meditation, but kind of have to get into it. And you can make it whatever you want. And you can I use your tools to the best of its ability and use my own things and things maybe I I knew before and however I want to use it. It's like you don't really get in my head. You can't really tell me how to think exactly. And it's like a lot of the work that I've done, but um, the best thing you can do for yourself is to learn that you're not your mind
Mhm.
and that your mind will do everything in its power to push you away from the work and will push you away from the people who maybe are raising your energy. So the second you can stop deciding to do things with what you're feeling at the moment, which I still do, but or deciding to not listen to your mind, or once you can listen to your mind and pick and choose whether you want to listen to it, or if you're like maybe you're tired and your mind's like you're tired, just go. You can be like, okay, fine, I'll do it. I am tired. Fine, I've done my 20 minutes. I've sat for 20 minutes. It's okay. Like I want to go change my spot. Or you can be like, no, like I'm not done yet. Or no, like this person calling me, um, I'm not going to pick up and use any excuse, or like, no, I have an itch, or I'm uncomfortable, or I'm sweating too much. It's like everything around you like wants you to stop from getting in, but you just have to keep going.
That's really good. I mean, it's the essence of letting go as of our mind is that the mind, the ego, it wants to control, it wants to remain, have this identity, this personality, and the more we do this inner work of letting go, what we're actually doing is we're cutting away the ego. We're letting go of all the stuff we think we are, even if that stuff is, oh, I'm hopeless or I'm not worthy or all of that. And as we let go of that mind, the negative aspects of it, yeah, we free ourselves. We come back into who we are, and we let go of all that mental garbage, really, right? Yeah, yeah. All right. Well, this has been amazing, Jake. I appreciate you for the last 3, 4 months getting to work with you, but we're not done yet. We still have a lot of work to do, and journey ahead of us. So we'll consider this, part one, and then yeah, we're all looking forward to part two, and in a few months maybe we'll regroup and yeah, see where you are in the future. So yeah, thanks, man.
Thank you.
All right, brother. We'll go for a swim. It's a beautiful day out in Tulum, and we'll show you a bit.